Hello and welcome to episode 48 of I Will Cast Anything. We're on Antiga Shipyard for a PvP. The red Protoss player spawning in the top position is SuperHumble, and the blue Protoss player spawning in the right hand position is SAKA. SuperHumble of course sent me this replay. This is the 4th of 5 that I've cast, and it's actually another mirror matchup PvP, as we have already seen before, from this player. And I was going on a bit when I went into these replays about how he likes to be aggressive, but not always aggressive. He showed in the game playing as Zerg of just waiting to go up to Broodlord and Infestor and kill people, so I'm not certain I'm going to see crazy aggression out of SuperHumble anymore. The first set of replays that he sent me was full of hilarious cheeses, and his later one he seems to be, I wouldn't say settling down because he still plays some cool stuff, but a bit more conventional, a bit more macro, shall we say. You see the probe scout from SAKA has come across earlier and is going to see a gateway. What a big surprise. Whereas SAKA is putting down a forge, so we might be seeing cheese out of SAKA. Are we going to see a cannon rush? Forge, 2 pylons. What are you thinking? Yes, it's got to be a cannon rush. Look at this probe. It's just sitting here. Here comes the pylon. SuperHumble has no idea, isn't going to have any idea unless he thinks to check. But that's not going to be likely. Well, what's SuperHumble going to be able to do to fight this off? Going to have to worry, basically. Here comes SAKA's gateway, so delayed on that gateway. That's the price you pay. The forge. SuperHumble spotted it and comes in and kills the probe. Excellent work. And SuperHumble going to go back to mining and get something to kill that probe, kill that tower, and just not, kill that pylon even, and not allow another probe in there because no cannons can be built without another probe. Here comes that other probe trying to resume the cannon rush, or maybe start it somewhere else, but I think that's basically been thwarted. You have to get at least 1 cannon up to be able to defend getting another one. Is there a spot on the low ground you can build one? No, I think SAKA might try and build another pylon, perhaps down here, and contain SuperHumble for now. There's a zealot out, which will kill this probe if it comes up into the main base. Oh, is it going to have time to plop down a cannon? Certainly won't have time to finish it. No, I think SAKA's going to pull away, and this probe is going to fall. Oh, pulls the rest of the probes just in case. Really doesn't want a cannon to go down near the main base, does SuperHumble, and that is now definitely thwarted. SAKA is not going to waste another probe trying to resume this cannon rush, so that's over. So now SAKA has to transition back to playing more ordinary game. Needs to start on that warp gate research. Halfway behind on warp gate research. Does have a defensive cannon up, so pretty safe on that front, using the early forge to his advantage. And that much, probing 2 cannons, not terrible things to waste. Disrupted some mining time, which will be frustrating. Perhaps thrown off the build timing of SuperHumble a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be a huge deal. And SuperHumble has put down a pylon to block the expansion here for SAKA, which is a little bit of a crafty, in-your-face counter move there in response to the cannon rush. And going straight into the robo. SuperHumble not choosing to expand just yet. Getting that robotics bay up, so has warp gate just about to finish. Already has 2 gas taken, just the 2nd gas taken for SAKA. SAKA going for more gates, so 3 gates before the expansion, but that expansion has been delayed obviously by this pylon from SuperHumble, putting down defensive cannon here as well. So going defensive with this expand, whereas slightly more aggressive, I think, perhaps, SuperHumble. Now here we go, not going for any 1 base aggression, is going to expand. Slightly delayed perhaps, but from that early harassment. Got his observer out, getting immortals out. His warp gate is finished, his opponent's is not, but didn't get a chance to warp in anything there. Another scouting probe coming in here for SAKA. It's going to spot this expansion and get chased away and killed, I think. So isn't going to come up in here and see that this early robo is out. Won't have seen that there's already an immortal on the field. And that could be a big deal. Here comes the second gateway. So low on gateways, even though ahead on warp gate. Only just getting warp gate is SAKA. So SuperHumble doing pretty well here. And SuperHumble has the lead in probes also. A little bit behind. Oh no, sorry, SuperHumble's ahead on that second nexus. My mistake. But a heavily defended position here, lots of cannons, but SAKA is now going to move out 2 zealots, 3 stalkers. Going to come up here and take this tower. And just a defensive position here, sentry, immortal, can warp in more sentries. Here we go, getting up some more gateways, starting mining over here. SuperHumble is in a good position. And that second nexus for SAKA just finishing up. Probe is going to scout up, get chased away. Try and put down a pylon. Oh, the 2 zealots and 3 stalkers come in to murder that 1 zealot. And a slight threat towards this nexus now. And it looks like SuperHumble is going to not quite give it up. Yes, has the 2 immortals now. 3 immortals now. Can easily hold this off even without that many sentries and that much force field energy. 2 more gateways about to finish. Then sentries can be warped in and this attack will not be able to achieve anything, warp gate or no. Here comes the robotics facility for SAKA, and here comes the first forge, double forge for SuperHumble, so that's going to be very useful. I don't think SAKA's gotten any upgrades out of the forge yet. Nope, that forge has only been used for cannons, and there we see force fields plus immortals equals dead things. And that contain is easily broken after a perhaps overly aggressive poke by SAKA there. Probably should have just hung back a little bit. Queuing up the probes here is SAKA, desperate to get that probe count up, but doing pretty even on probes so far. Both players pretty much saturated at their mains and getting there on their naturals. Here come the upgrades, +1/+1 for SuperHumble. Oops, sorry, my mouse freaking out a little bit. Just +1 ground weapons for SAKA. And just now getting that first observer out because, of course, only just got the robo base. So SuperHumble's had perfect scouting vision. I didn't even notice that, but has had perfect vision, knows exactly all the gateways, all the warp timings, everything that's going on there. Very good position to be in for SuperHumble. And SuperHumble is going for the warp prism. So thinks he sees a base that he can warp into. Here's the observer for SAKA, meanwhile, being a little bit cautious. And the stalkers are coming up, having seen that robo and the observer coming out, waiting for it to come and snipe it off. This is very clever. Observer's not quite where he's expecting it to be. Oh, here it comes. Is he going to get it? There goes the warp prism. Here comes the observer. Oh, I think he's just gonna... No, he spotted it. Oh, but he missed it. Oh well, he was trying to snipe that observer there, but he's not gonna get it. But he does have a warp prism going round, heading for the main base. And that's gonna go unsighted because the observer, of course, is way over here, scouting out the army, scouting out the facilities. And we'll see what this warp in can do from SuperHumble. SuperHumble might try and push out if this warp in pulls the army away from the front gate. Going up to a second robo, getting that Twilight Council, so it's going to continue to push ahead on upgrades, and is warping in zealots just as +1/+1 has finished. And a couple of sentries, and force fielding in, oh, but not quite perfectly force fielding, but getting lots of worker kills. And going to continue to warp in and continue to do damage. Where is the army? Here it is from SAKA. Shouldn't have too much trouble clearing this out. This Warp Prism needs to bail before the Stalkers kill it. Picks up, runs away. Oh, but it's going to go down. That is a bit of a shame. How many workers killed? 14 worker kills for SuperHumble. He did get a couple earlier on in that attempted cannon rush. So it's pretty effective, but not good to lose that Warp Prism. The +2/+2 has started. Zealot charge has started. The Immortal count is very, very high for the red Protoss player. Lots of gateways now. Double robo. Ahead on upgrades. And ahead on supply. Only by 10 though, so not massive. And was able to be effective with some worker kills there. So SuperHumble in the lead, but marginal yet. SAKA hasn't really done much in this game. That early cannon rush didn't work out. Lost 2-3 probes. Lost the pylon. Had to rethink. Was behind on warp gate. But has turtled up. You know, got 4 cannons up. 3 defending this ramp. So it's going to be tough for SuperHumble to push in there without, say, extended thermal lance colossi or a lot of tanky zealots. See what's going for. Although Immortals do pretty good as well, I guess. Double robo Immortal production. Looks like it might just be mass Immortals with good upgrades that will be how SuperHumble plans to win this. Twilight Council and Immortal just coming, and robotics, second robotics only now coming for SAKA, so you can see how far ahead SuperHumble was getting the extra facility and the extra upgrade structure, giving him the advantage in this game and pushing out that supply lead with big warp-ins of zealots right now. That's the big, well, zealots and Immortals, definitely the focus of the army for SuperHumble. We see 1 Colossus out, no thermal lance. Oh, thermal lance just finishing now, so SAKA does have a shot here against all these zealots, but it's going to be tough if a push comes. But SuperHumble doesn't look like he's interested in attacking. Going up to 3 bases instead. Still holding his army back here. Not wanting to push out just yet. Has this observer hanging out, waiting to see the move out if it's going to come. So knows that this third is safe. And continuing to push for upgrades, getting the robotics bay as well. So might be going into Colossus of his own pretty shortly. Also getting some defensive cannons. I think these are to look for the observer coming in perhaps. Has no reason to suspect Stargate play yet. Or warp prisms, also good to spot for. Now SuperHumble's going to move out into the middle of the map. Has the supply lead. Why not take map control? And that warp prism has been rebuilt. See what is planning to do. Is SuperHumble going to expand over here? No, it looks like, oh, double expansion from SAKA. That's weird, but kind of cool. I wonder if that's going to work. SAKA saying, okay, I'm probably behind. Why not get ahead? But if SuperHumble spotted that, would be able to come in and drop on it. But he's going to move out, I think, and warp in at the same time. The observer from SAKA has come in and seen this. And just warping in more zealots to defend at the front. But this third, yes, is going to be denied. This third perhaps isn't known about just yet. Here's a big zealot warp in. That's going to kill a lot of probes indeed. There is 1 cannon, but that's not going to do much. So SuperHumble moved out and cancelled the third up there, but it hasn't cancelled this third down here because it doesn't know about it. But when that warp prism goes home, it might get found out. More cannons have been thrown down. What's the worker kill count? Oh, looks like he killed another 10 or 11 workers there. That's pretty excellent. Might even kill this cannon. Yes, does just get another cannon before that zealot immolates. So weirdly, oh, I was going to say craftily SAKA has gained himself a third nexus, but it's been spotted. There's a stalker here. There's about to be a warp in, and SAKA's going to be stuck on 2 bases while SuperHumble gets to mining on 3. Oh, the whole army is going to come around. SuperHumble wants to save this. SAKA even wants to save this. There hasn't been a warp in yet. SAKA does have 3 Colossi now. Here comes that warp in. Might be too late though. The whole army is here. I think this is going to be driven off. What? Move command! There we go. The surround comes into effect. They start shooting just in time. Bit of a James Bond moment. Saved that nexus, and SAKA is going to get 3 bases, but for how long this warp prism wasn't killed. And this, oh no, this Colossus has been rallied across the map from SuperHumble. That's a bit of a mistake. It must have been accidentally grouped with the observer perhaps. And this warp prism is still a threat. I think SAKA might have assumed that it was killed. SuperHumble first thinking about going for the mineral line at the main again, but now he's going to push down and try and take out this Nexus. It's got very little health here. Shields are recharging at the moment. And SuperHumble is going into Colossus, so getting a couple now, getting extended thermal lance, and getting that Templar archive, so going to be going up to even more upgrades, but already has 3-3, only 1-2, getting +2 ground attack for SAKA. I think SAKA still has only 1 forge, yes. SAKA still only working 1 forge, still only mining on 2 bases. The warp-in did come eventually, the army did not arrive, and that Nexus has fallen. More probes are dying, and SuperHumble is maintaining a lead here. 32 workers killed, supply advantage pretty significant at this point, and SAKA, just in income terms, is way behind SuperHumble right now. SuperHumble adding Colossus into the mix, has a lot of Immortals already, not going up to Stargate yet, doesn't really feel he needs to, and probably doesn't. Just going to power off free base for now, add more gates. Might even add a 3rd robo if so inclined, although probably doesn't need to. Probably can max out on gateway units and go at this point. 5 Colossus on the field. We'll see what SuperHumble chooses to do. SAKA meanwhile got to try and retake this 3rd. Hasn't been able to really produce any more production buildings, and it's going to be Archons that are going to make up the rest of the unit composition for SuperHumble. It looks like there was another warp in here, and it looks like it might have killed some more probes, maybe a couple. Speaking of warp-ins, constant warp gate harassment. Doesn't have much supply to warp in at the moment, so it can only really warp in 3 units at a time. That's not really going to work out for SuperHumble. But SAKA's pushing across the map. A ton of Colossus, not as many Immortals, not many sentries for either player. I'm not sure how this is all going to be about the angle. I think SuperHumble's got a better one here. Definitely he's going to pick off the back half of that force as it goes away. Bubble shields go up, charge lots go in, so many Colossi. It's hard to tell who's winning, but I think SAKA is getting pushed back gradually by the superior upgrades, and the superior number of Immortals from SuperHumble are paying dividends and ripping through the army of SAKA. Just 4 Colossi and a small number of Immortals and Stalkers left. 1 more Colossi falls. Colossus falls. Pluralization, pardon me. And a warp in at the main. Not much to kill here except that 1 Zealot and maybe some pylons. But a huge win for SuperHumble. Not pushing on for the kill though. Backing off here. I think SuperHumble worried about depletion of forces after that. Perhaps wanting to remax, or perhaps saying, you know what, I know I've got more bases, I don't need to attack. Which is true, because this 3rd has never been taken successfully. There was a Zealot warp in while that was going on that killed that off, and this Zealot warp in up here is murdering pylons. SAKA couldn't even max out if they wanted to, and I think we might see a bit of a desperation push here. I'm not sure what SAKA can hope to do at this point, being so far behind, but we'll see if there are any desperation moves going on. SuperHumble only really building units at the moment, not thinking about taking a 4th or building any more production facilities, just remaxing, confident that with the superior income can remax faster than the opponent. And this warp-in is just really going unchecked at the moment. Pylons continue to fall. I suppose you don't really need pylons if you don't have the income. Mining off 1 base right now is SAKA. There's 2 full bases mining. These probes just sitting here not doing anything for SuperHumble. Looks like we might see a cliff walk attack. Doesn't have blink on these. Does have blink on these Stalkers, my mistake. Blinks up into the main, so this is the last roll of the dice for SAKA. What damage can be done? Will the base trade happen? No, he's going to push up from the low ground. That's an interesting choice, but strength in numbers, strength in upgrades. The Colossus are going to be effective. Not enough damage is being done in the main for this to be significant. And SAKA is going to be surrounded shortly when the rest of SuperHumble's armies comes up. And that surely has to be GG. Yes, it is. SuperHumble takes the victory.